Celebrating 4 years of talk like you've never heard it before, this is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network. GabNet's creator and founder, Alex Bennett, is always looking for ways to stay on the cutting edge. He first revolutionized commercial radio. He built a career on being one of the first to speak to the new generation of the 60s. Then he reinvented himself on morning drive radio, where he was the first to use a live studio audience and guest comedians each morning. Another ratings winner. Next, Alex took off for outer space as he brought his unique perspective on politics and news to the satellites. Always a pioneer, his next stop was to create a unique format that no one else had ever done, with citizen panels on the internet. What's next? Is there any place left to innovate? Are there any stones left unturned? Introducing GabNet Live on Roku. That's right, GabNet Live on Roku. No lies, because you can't lie on the internet. GabNet is now available on your TV. You can listen to GabNet's 24/7 network stream, or browse your favorite GabNet shows from the archives, just like on Gabnet.net. But that's not all. You can also watch video of Alex's archived live stream TV programs, as well as his televised Friday night Ramble. It's all there for you, and all you have to do is turn on your Roku device, search the Roku store for GabNet Live, and add the channel to your lineup. Then sit back and enjoy. It's GabNet Live on Roku. Thanks, Alex. GabNet needs you. Yes, GabNet needs you to call our live programs and be a part of the citizen panels. It's the most innovative talk format yet, because it's not just one caller, it's a group of callers interacting with the hosts at the same time. Here's how you do it. It's simple. First, download Skype at skype.com. To install it, answer 4 simple questions: first name, last name, email address, and your choice of ID. Then launch Skype, go to Add Contacts, type in GabNet Live, and ask to be made a contact. Then you're ready to be on the citizen panel. If you're too lazy, well, you can always call on the phone at 347-352-0079. That's 347-352-0079. For all the information and a call button for Skype, log on to Gabnet.net. At the bottom of the page, you'll find a video on how to call us and how to use GabNet. It couldn't be easier. It couldn't be more fun and exciting. We're new. We're different. But we need you to call. So for crying out loud, call, or we'll kill this dog. Don't worry, Fluffy. They won't let you die. I'm not kidding. Call or Fluffy gets it. Oopsie.
Hi, everybody. This is Alex Bennett, and I've had a long and interesting trip. It's called life. And for years, people have demanded that I write a book about it, and while I've been a writer, my main talent has always been that of a broadcaster. Over a year ago, I decided not to write the book, but using my best skill, I decided to tell it. It's called Life in the Passing Lane, and I described it as an audio biography. It's presented in 30-minute chapters, so it's easy to binge listen. And you can access it on the GabNet page by clicking on Life in the Passing Lane and going to a page with every single episode, plus some extras. If you want to access it on your mobile device, that's easy too. It's on iTunes. It's Life in the Passing Lane, an audio biography by me. I'm Alex Bennett.
Celebrating 4 years of talk like you've never heard it before, this is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network.
You want to sing?
No, I don't like this song.
Why don't you like the song?
I like the other one.
Huh?
I like the other one.
Well, you can't have the other one.
Boom, boom. Da, 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 da.
You're talking about this one. Wait a minute.
Bum, 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 bum. Da, 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 da. Put it back
No,
on.
I can't.
Why?
Because I get in trouble when I play it.
Just once.
No, not just once. Then I have to write letters to YouTube saying I have rights to the song, and then they have to get,
Well,
because for some reason they screwed up. Hold on a second. Let me just.
it's hot in here.
What, it is hot in here?
Yeah.
Oh, well, anyway.
Can you
There
put the
she
fan
is.
on?
There she is, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, I can turn the fan on. There you go. Are you happy? You know. She's always got to have the fan on.
Well, it does
What
get
are you going to
hot.
strip?
I'm stripping.
You stripping? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Anyway, how are you doing?
Well, considering it's our first day of heat, after what, 2 days of no heat in the winter?
Why haven't we had heat? That's what
The
I don't get.
boiler.
Is why don't we
Something
have?
was wrong with the boiler?
Oh, did they say that?
I think there was a sign downstairs. Of course, you never go out.
No,
so
no. I saw a sign yesterday that said we wouldn't have heat,
Well, it was the
water,
same sign.
hot water
It was the same sign.
today.
No, yesterday.
Yeah, well, that was a sign saying that we wouldn't get hot water.
Well, whatever makes the hot water probably cleaned
Yeah,
out.
yeah. Well,
Heat. No heat.
no heat.
Oh boy, it was cold.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know if you noticed, but I slept totally under the covers last night, bed included.
I know. I couldn't even kiss you goodnight.
I mean, I was totally under the covers.
Yeah, yeah. But it was but they didn't, for some reason, we didn't get heat here for, God, it had to be 3 nights.
Yeah,
And it was
cold.
really
It was
cold.
cold.
And that's against the law.
Well, it was probably broken, and they didn't say anything.
Yeah, but that boiler keeps breaking all the time. Why don't they get a new boiler?
Because we've got slum landlords.
That's the
why.
same boiler they had to turn off when they turned off our water for our
6 months.
What was it? Our gas.
Gas for 6 months.
Yeah. He fought to keep the boiler going. That
Thank
was
God.
what it is. Because the fire department, when they come in and there's something wrong,
They turn off everything.
Oh, they break every pane of glass they can find in sight.
Go through the elevators.
Literally, when we had a fire
Couple
here
of years
a couple
ago.
of years ago, we have like an elevator that goes up, and then on each floor there's a foyer outside, right?
With glass.
Up 8 floors. They went up to each floor and,
And
broke the
broke the
glass
glass.
in every single one of them, even though the fire was on the first floor.
Right.
It was on the second floor.
Yeah, yeah.
They love doing that. Oh, good. We're having a fire. Let's break stuff. Yeah. So that, but we haven't had. We've been freezing our ass off in here, and
It's been cold. I
that-
mean, I spent the entire night under the covers, head included,
I know. I saw.
and pillows on top
I
of
went
me.
in. I couldn't find you. It was like I finally found some portion of your body that I could kiss goodnight. But it was not. It was not good. It was
No,
terrible.
it was cold. Anyway,
Yeah.
it's back on now.
Yeah.
To the point where it's so hot I had to open the windows.
So my kudos to Damien for having played the
video.
The video. Well, he played the audio of the
Yeah,
video.
the audio.
Because he doesn't do a video show.
Oh,
No,
I didn't know that.
Actually, I would love to get all our shows doing video, and I know that I could probably teach Damien how to do it, and he would probably, I guess, do it.
Well, practice with him.
No, but so far as Jack is concerned,
well, start with Damien. I mean, Jack is challenged.
I had enough problems getting him to be able to do audio.
Jack is challenged. Do
Yeah.
you hear me, Jack? You're challenged. We know that.
Yeah. So, I mean, I would love to see all our shows go to video. Mainly because I'm finding now that we have video,
Yeah?
the audio listenership is completely.
Because they want to see
Wayne.
you. Because they'd rather see
Well,
you.
what happens is some of them go over to gabnet.net to listen to it, and there's a thing you can push there, and it says click to hear the audio. But then right below it,
Is the
live, is the video. So why don't they just listen to that? So. That's the reason for that. If you don't want to know where to get the video, that's one of the easiest places, gabnet.net. But if you want to actually get the video page, which you can then tab in your browser, right? It's youtube.com/Bolo Bennett/live. And then you get a
Live.
page that when I'm not on, it has a countdown until the next show.
Oh.
And when I go on, you don't have to do anything. It just, boom, there we are, Just like I can see here. And it's actually, I have to admit it, flawless. We've been doing this, about 2 months now with YouTube?
Yeah.
Never once has it gone down. In that time, Facebook, I don't care if it goes down once now. Facebook in that time would have gone down at least 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
You know, or the video would have been live. Facebook's version is so fucked. It's ridiculous.
Well, I watch it on your Facebook, but it's the day after.
No, you're watching the video of it,
Right.
which there's no problem with that. You know.
Yeah, it's not live.
And you can go over to YouTube and see it there too.
Are you still on live stream?
Yeah, I'm still on live stream. I don't know why.
Well, why not?
Well, why not? A good reason why not. $49 a month.
Oh.
But I've been keeping it because they have a great kind of studio thing where I could switch a show and so on, but I never use it. So I'm thinking of dropping it.
Well,
you know, I have but I get 3 people a day that watch it on live stream. And since it doesn't port to anywhere else, I just found out with Vimeo, if I put my thing on Vimeo, I can say, put it on Facebook, and then it will put it on Facebook with a notation to all my followers, which is about 5,000 of them, that there's a video there. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah. So I'm thinking of, rather than putting the video directly onto my Facebook page, to go through Vimeo to do it. We'll see. We'll experiment with it.
Whatever.
But you can get it in any number of ways, the video. You can even Roku. You know, we post it to Roku every night. You can see the video. We just watched the video of last night's show on our big
television
4K set, you know.
That was a great show, by the way.
Last night's show was exceptional. Was exceptional. What do you... you always have to play.
Well, I don't know what it is.
What is it? Every time I listen to a playback of the shows with you, at some point I'm going, what are you touching that for?
You have so many things.
That's the charger.
Oh, the fast charger.
Faster
the faster
charger. It's not fast, you know.
What are you charging now?
What am I charging? Nothing, I don't think.
What's this thing blinking?
Well, that's just it. It's also got a what? Why am I explaining all of this when we're doing the show? This thing is a battery that you can take out of there and take with you. And then if you run out of battery power on your iPhone or whatever, you can use that to charge it.
Wow.
See?
Yeah. How about that?
Yeah, but I never use that. I just bought that because it was at Costco and it looked good.
It does look good.
And it was like $30 or something. So it's a fast charger. They don't have them anymore. So yeah, it's one of those things they put in there and then they don't have them anymore.
But you could find it online.
Oh, I'm sure I can find that online, but it does the job, and it's got 3 USB ports out of there.
And it's fast.
Yeah, so I put my phone in there, I put the tablet in there, I do the what do you call it?
Do you still use the
GoPro?
tablet that I got you?
That one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got it in the other room.
Oh.
It's not that I use it. I check to see. See, we have a app for Android. If you go into the Android store or whatever the store is, a Google Play store, that's it. You just look up Great American Broadcast, and you will find an app for it. And the app is there, and what it does, it will play a limited number of shows. It used to play the live show, but it doesn't anymore because we changed the live stream, and the guy who put the thing together for us is no longer...
It's all right.
He got into some kind of fight with Albert about some business deal they had, and then he stopped talking to me and he said he couldn't talk to me because the lawyer said don't talk to me.
Well, now you could probably talk to him.
Well, every now and then I get a hold of him. He says not yet, and I go, Albert's moved to Florida. He's long gone, and so I might write him and just say, is there any way we could get that live thing, the 24/7 thing there? So anyway,
tell him to come over as an alias.
Come over as an alias?
Yeah, give him another name. Joe's coming over
today. Yeah. Yeah. I liked him, too. He was the guy who invented Auto Alex.
Oh, from way back
when. Which was the thing way back when that was the precursor and really the prototype for iTunes. Because what he did is I was out of work, as I was from time to time. And I figured I'd do a show every day on the internet. But the only way you could do it in those days, you couldn't do them live particularly. If you wanted to, it was very expensive. So I would record it and just put it on my site, and then people could download it, or they could just click on it and listen to it. So he came up with it. He said, I invented this thing for you. I said, what is it? And said, I call it Auto Alex. All they do is they put it on they download it from your site, they put it on their computer, then they tell it to just every day, just go to your site and grab the file. And so I said, okay, and then they download it, yeah, and then when they come home every day, your show will be there waiting for them.
Wow.
Well, what does that sound like to you? That's iTunes. That's, that's the way iTunes delivers podcasts. It's the same identical thing. And he invented it, and we implemented it, okay? And so that's the guy
Give Alex a call.
That's the guy I did it with. And then I got him involved in here. He kind of helped me get this whole thing together, technically, and I thank him for that. And then he got into business with Albert on something.
A concept. I don't think it got more than a concept.
Concept, yeah. But somehow, for some reason, it became a legal case between the two of them.
They had a falling out.
And he couldn't talk to me because I knew Albert. And I'm going, every now and then I would write him and say, is the coast clear yet? And I'm sorry I ever got the two of them together, because I lost a good technology person that could be a lot of help to me. But he's the one that he didn't put together the Google app, but he had a guy they found in Europe who did it for us. And so he knew where that guy was, and all that guy has to do is to go into the program, change the address, for the live feed, and then it could work again. But what does still work in there is it does update I think it updates the Ramble, the Exchange, and the Intersection, and that's it.
That's enough.
Yeah. But we haven't done anything with it. Most people don't even know it exists. But if you have an Android phone, just,
You know what I'm looking? Here's an observation how old people start looking alike.
Yeah?
Look at us.
Wait a minute. What? I mean...
We both have our plaid flannels on, our sweatshirts.
I have the plaid panel, yeah, and then you have... Well,
My
can't
plaid.
see yours. Yeah, there you go.
There we go.
Yeah. Yeah.
There we go.
We are getting to be old people. And then we're wearing our T-shirts, too. Yours is for what? New York State. Oh, that's Lake Tahoe. You got that when we were married.
Yeah, I remember it was real cold.
Yeah, we got married on the shores of Lake Tahoe.
Yeah.
But what's the T-shirt? It's
U.S. Open 2016.
Oh, really? That was last year.
2 years.
Oh, 2 years ago. I didn't get one of those.
Yes, you did.
No, I didn't.
You get one every year, my dear.
Yeah.
And a hat.
Yeah. I like the new hat you got me last year.
Yeah.
I like it. I have enough of the same cap of those other ones. That all they did was change the year.
The year.
Not that I care about the U.S. Open, but she is Can I tell you how I suffer, folks? My long suffering.
Here we go.
With tennis.
Should I get the little violin out?
Tell them when you start watching tennis.
You tell them. You've got a better story.
It's the Austrian Open.
Right.
The Austrian Open.
Which came back to the Olympics this year.
That was the Australian Open.
Right.
And she starts watching that. But it doesn't just watch it. You know how you would watch this. Maybe every night you'd settle down and say, oh, who's playing who? Oh, that's nice. This Venus is playing tonight, blah, 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 blah. No, she's got to watch every single fucking match.
I don't watch every single one, just the people I'm following.
But you're sitting there for hours upon hours upon hours.
I enjoy it. You sit in front of the computer for hours upon hours.
But I'm doing work.
Well, this is my pleasure. I work 10-hour days every day.
Nobody said you had to.
Well, this is my. No,
look, admit why you do a 10-hour day. You don't do a 10-hour day.
I do 9 to 10.
You do.
And I do work at home. That counts.
You go in at what time?
6.
6. And you leave when?
3 to 4.
3.
3:30.
3. You leave at 3.
3 sometimes.
Yeah, so it's a 9-hour day, and if you take an hour out for lunch, that's an 8-hour day.
Never take an hour out for lunch.
But the reason why you do it is so you can leave at 3.
Which gives me it's like almost like a half a day.
Well, you can go do stuff.
I can meet a friend for lunch and not having to worry about it. I can go to a doctor's appointment. I can get my hair cut. I can go home and just chill out.
She takes that time for 2 things. Number 1, endless doctor's appointments. It's like a social thing with you. I'm seeing Dr. Schmoody today, and I'm seeing Dr. Booty tomorrow, and I'm seeing Dr. Armpit the day afterwards. And then this woman, the maintenance on her now.
Well, it's true. As you get older, the maintenance is higher.
It's a lot of maintenance. It's a motherfucking ton of maintenance.
I have to agree on that.
I can't believe how much maintenance.
And you can't let it sit.
I said, what'd you go for today? I had my hair appointment today. Oh, okay. What was it for? Cut. Okay. All right. Where were you today? My hair appointment. I said, but you had a hair appointment yesterday. No, this was the one to get it colored. Yeah. Okay. What were you doing today? I had to have my nails done. I mean, we may as well just go to have a garage, put her up on a rack, and just give her a lube job, you know? Yeah. I mean, do you find the maintenance is more difficult the older you get?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, what do they do? Like, here's one thing about her. Look at her. Look straight ahead. She never wears lipstick.
I wear this.
But you do lip gloss.
Yeah.
You do. That's for chapped lips. Well, but that's not, but you don't do lipstick. You never.
I'll tell you why I don't wear lipstick, because I used to bite it, and then it was all over my teeth. Oh. So the once or twice a year that I put lipstick on, it would end up being on my teeth, and to me, it wasn't worth it. So, but I love eye makeup. I put a lot of eye makeup.
Yeah, but you don't do lips at all.
I never got into it.
I've never noticed that you didn't or did. I never particularly cared whether a woman wore, lipstick or not. But that's got to be a real art to put it on right.
Oh, what's harder is eyeliner.
Oh, really?
Well, yeah, you can mess it up, especially if you use liquid and you mess it up and then all of a sudden the line is going in the wrong direction.
Yeah, I got to tell you something about her. Well, you're not getting the numbers that you normally get tonight, but let me see here. Oh, well, yeah, we're getting there. Because we're not arguing.
I don't want to argue.
Oh, I do.
Well, we have 8 minutes.
Yeah, 8 minutes. Anyway, she watches television in a very peculiar manner. We're watching the news. There could be a woman on television whose baby just got run over by a truck.
I know what you're going to say.
And she's on television with the reporter crying her eyes out, and she'll say, do you know one of her eyebrows is higher than the other one? Wait, that's the way you watch people on television.
I noticed those things.
Gee,
look how bad her makeup is.
What was one the other day? Some guy was something, and you said...
A woman with heavy thighs.
A woman with heavy thighs. Yeah. Yeah, you watch just all the physicality of these people.
Well, it just kind of snaps out.
It's kind of snapped out, does it? Oh, really? Oh, okay.
I can also pick out nose jobs.
Well,
when I was in high school...
Or you can pick noses.
That's true.
Yeah, anyway.
In high school, everyone, except me, and my father's nose, got nose jobs. So you could just spot it. I mean, I can tell even on the television if somebody
But you didn't need a nose job,
No, I never had a nose job. This is my dad's nose. But I fractured it. There's a lump here.
Yeah, but I mean, let me look at old pictures. No, your nose looks fine.
Yeah. But I did fracture it. There's a lump right here.
But they all got nose jobs?
Well, if you come from a Jewish neighborhood, a lot of the girls had beaks.
But something, call me stupid, call me crazy. I liked the Jewish nose. I liked a woman who had kind of a Jewishy nose.
Well, a lot of girls didn't.
I like brunettes who had Jewish noses. I liked a very Jewish-looking woman.
This is a Jewish nose.
Yeah. I mean, you were my type.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have been hot for you years ago, but we would have been broken up by now.
I would have never, ever dated you. Ever.
Never? Why?
Because you fucked around.
Well, wait, no, but you didn't. Nobody, you don't know that when you first meet somebody.
I knew that.
Huh?
I knew that.
You didn't know that.
That you lied to women and you cheated.
No, I didn't lie.
You did.
I didn't lie.
You did lie.
No. Well, how did I lie?
You cheated.
No, I didn't cheat exactly.
Yeah, you had an agreement with Barbara.
With who?
Susan. But all the others you cheated on.
No. Now, I don't think I ever cheated on my girlfriend of a long time, but we broke up 11 times while we were together. So I can't remember when I was going out with somebody else and not going out with somebody else because we weren't broken up.
Ah.
But, you know, I'm sorry. I was not the nice... You would not have been happy with me.
That's what I'm saying.
You would not have been happy with me because you're a very jealous person.
I'm not jealous.
And then you would say to me, how can you go out with her? Look, her eyebrow is higher than the other eyebrow.
Look, she hasn't shaved her legs.
You know?
I just want to say...
All my ex-girlfriends, by the way, when she sees pictures of my ex-girlfriends, she always has some kind of catty remark to make about them.
And your point is?
Huh?
And your point is?
But
it's 10:26.
I know.
Just
you got 4 minutes.
Got 4 minutes.
I know. You're counting every moment of it.
Counting every moment.
You know, anyway, the point I'm making is that
yes, please make your point.
You have nothing but catty things to say about every woman that you've seen a picture of who I went out with.
That's not true.
It is true.
No, it's not.
Well, tell me one you said was
Alex, I don't even remember the name.
You said, Alex, you were so lucky to go out with her. She was adorable. Go ahead. Come on.
I don't know who you went out with, and I don't care.
I went out with a lot of people.
Well, but it's none of my business, and I don't want to know.
Well, I'll tell you, the reason I didn't get married for like 15 years or over 15 years was simply because I didn't want to have to cheat again on a marriage.
They cheat on a relationship that's binding.
But it was always on, off, on, off, on, off, on, off. I mean, come on. You know, and then when it would come back on again, I would have to break up with all the women that I'd met in the interim.
Listen to this.
What?
All the women.
It was all the women. Yes, unfortunately, it was all the women. Although there were some women I liked better than others. You know, there were some women that
You dated some nutcases.
Nutcases?
The one that you were afraid of. One time you called me from her place and you were afraid that she was going to kill you.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Well, I left in the middle of the night on that one. I thought maybe, you know, yeah.
That was it.
I could foresee it.
I would have been their last spoken word.
Yeah. You
called me. I got to get out of here.
I've had a few that were pretty crazy.
Yeah. We all have.
You know, I mean, I had one that was a nutball. But I couldn't keep away from her. There was something about her that whenever she was within my proximity, there was a smell she gave off or something that just made me want to jump her. And I can't tell you why.
It probably was a smell. Everybody has that.
No, it was a thing. It was a musk or something.
Musk, yeah.
And I'm going, oh no, she's not coming over. Oh boy, Alex, you're not going to have sex with her tonight. And the next thing I know, I'm having sex with her. She had some kind of magnetism. And it wasn't that she was particularly gorgeous or ravishing or whatever. There was just something, you know. And I kept saying to myself, I can't do this. This is wrong.
Can I roll over?
No, that's what you said last night. Thank you. No, you wouldn't roll over last night. Last night I could have used your body warmth, and there was no way I was going to even get close to you because you were so I thought I was sleeping next to a mummy.
I was not only under the covers, but I had 3 pillows on top of me.
You did, didn't you?
I did.
Yeah, she was amazing.
I was freezing.
Amazing. Okay, if you wanna roll over, just come on over here. Come on over to Alex. Hi, honey. So good to see you, darling. Old people kissing, isn't that disgusting? Huh?
All right, set up the phones.
Well, let me open the phones.
This girl.
Okay. All right. You know, and then we sit here and we wait forever for somebody to call us. By the way, Phil is not going to be calling tonight.
It's a Phil-free night.
And it's going to be maybe a Phil-free couple of days because Phil is having his prostate removed. And he's going to give it to me. He's having his prostate removed, and we're all wishing him the best. You know, we give him a bad time because, quite frankly, his political views are fucked. But it doesn't matter. We really like him, and we wish him well. And I do not want anything negative to happen to him.
That's right.
Okay, so let's all keep a good thought out for
call in
Phil. What?
And call in. It's 10:30.
I know.
Can I say good night?
You want to go? Wait a minute. Vernon Nunn is coming.
Oh, Vernon, thank you.
Vernon's the first one tonight, right out of the. Look at him. There he is.
That handsome son.
Yeah, he see all the ham radio stuff. There we go. And he does his entire part of the show in Morse code.
In Morse code.
Yeah. What did you just dot to us?
I said GAB, Great American Broadcast.
Oh, good. See, isn't that cool?
Right,
oh, here comes John Perulis. You know, we got a lot of new people calling us, or old people that decided to start calling us again. John, here we go. John, you there? There he is.
Hi.
There's John Perulis.
Hey, John.
How are you, John?
I think your wife is beautiful. You should be very proud to have
her.
I realize that. The thing is that these cameras aren't that clear.
They have the Elizabeth Taylor gloss filter on it.
I have hers fuzzy so that it. No, actually, for an old broad, okay.
There we go.
She's pretty damn.
My wife,
I'm lucky.
Wife punches me when I start off 4A. You know, if I start off with that phrase, I'm done. I'm finished.
Well, the woman's 87 years old. Look at her.
Yeah, right. She looks like she's 47.
4A, what was it going to be? For a woman your age?
For a woman your age. Yeah,
yeah, for a woman your age.
No,
hey, Alex.
Yeah.
I got on the Gabnet uniform.
Oh,
that's
boy,
the official Gabnet uniform. Yeah, there we go. Here we go.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
The old flannels.
I got to tell you something. These are easy to use.
Yeah, who got you into them?
Yeah.
Used to wear the sweatpants.
Here comes Patrick.
Patrick.
Thank you so much for last night. You really offered us a great show.
It was. Thank you.
And we watched it today, and it actually was as good as I thought it was.
Yeah, I saw it too. You know, thanks to both of you guys for putting that on. And when I'm linking to it, I am linking to Gabnet too to try to get people to watch the show. Because it's a real show.
Yeah.
I mean, we're real people. We have real feelings. We have real stories to tell. And last night was a bellwether. I mean, I watched that show and my jaw dropped open. You know, I couldn't, I came in late to the show, but I did watch it right after.
You got to watch Clayton's.
I just said, holy smokes. And I blasted it all over my Facebook page and, all that. So you guys... Fantastic.
And we got a lot of viewers after the fact too on it.
Yeah.
So it was good, but it still it was a great story that he had to tell. And in case nobody heard it, go back and either on Facebook or on YouTube look at our pages and look at the video from last night. It's at the very beginning of the show. It is 19 and a half riveting minutes, okay? Of somebody telling a story. And then he called the show.
That was great.
So that was the frosting on the cake.
It really was. So, thank you, Patrick.
Thank you to all of you who were involved in it last night. In fact, all the people here were involved in it last night, including the handsome gentleman with the beard who has joined us and the other handsome gentleman with a beard who has joined us. And to talk to the ugly guy with a beard.
With the trying to grow a beard.
How you doing, Rob?
Okay, how are you?
Yeah. I went away last night feeling really good about that program last night,
Oh, you should, man. That was a fantastic
It's one
show.
of the times I say to myself, this concept of the citizen panel really works, and everybody was participating in it. Oh, except for Tony. He hardly ever says anything unless you mention a comic book. And when I mentioned Mrs. Grundy in Archie, all of a sudden his eyes lit up and he had something to say.
Or a dog.
Or his dog. I don't want pictures of his dog. I've banned pictures of his dog from my Facebook page. I don't want to see that mutt, that mangy cur. How's that, Tony? Anyway,
that ought to get him to call.
Yeah, they should get him to call. Well, I like Tony. He's okay.
Tony's Tony.
Tony's Tony. In fact, what was it? How I met Tony. Tony used to call the show all the time, and then finally, we were having a big party here, kind of when we first moved in. And so we invited about 100 people or something to come to the party. That show you how big the place is. They all fit comfortably here. and we held this big party. And he said, "Can I come?" And Albert on the air says, "You would probably remember this too, Patrick." Albert says, "Yes, you can come to the party too."
If you come in your
if
pajamas.
you come in your pajamas, in your footy pajamas, or what do you call them?
Yeah. It was the footy pajamas or his onesies.
His onesies or whatever. He came, but he didn't show up wearing that. And Albert was about ready to throw him out. You didn't show up in your onesies. You didn't show up in your footy pajamas.
Out of here.
Yeah. So. But that's how I met him, and that's the last time I met him. I don't think I've ever met. No, I haven't. I have not been in the same room with Tony since then. He goes over to Shecky's, my friend Shecky's, occasionally, and I'm never there when he's there. A chance non-encounter, perhaps. Anyway, and I've only met, actually, I think I've only met Rob once, right? We had dinner here.
That's right. Yeah.
That's right.
We went to a restaurant. We hung out there.
Yeah.
In Harlem?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the next time you're in New York, come on over. Let's do it again.
Dinner.
Huh?
Oh, we all went to dinner?
We all went to dinner.
Oh.
Remember, we went to Cecil's.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's when it was a restaurant. Now it's an empty restaurant.
No, it is a restaurant again, I think.
But I think for private parties.
No, I think it's a restaurant
Really?
again. Yeah. But let's do dinner again soon.
You're coming into New York, you said.
Sorry?
You're coming into New York.
Talk to them into the microphone.
You're coming into New York, yes?
Easter Sunday.
Oh,
That's like 2 weeks.
Yeah, but then he turns around and goes back home.
Are we going to see you?
Yeah. No, well, because we're there for a quick hit. That's the problem, right?
Yeah.
You're far from where my brother is, and we're only there for a quick hit because there's no days off or anything. It's just
Where's your brother live?
Eastern Long Island.
How east?
Bohemia.
Is that the Southern Fork?
Southern, not that far out. No.
Okay.
It's not Fork. It's out past where you get. It's probably about 20 minutes east of where you get the ferry to go to Fire Island.
Well, you can get the ferry in many places. Bayshore?
Bayshore.
Okay.
About 20 minutes from Bayshore.
20 minutes east.
That's where we go.
Yeah.
We go to Bayshore.
Yeah, I used to have a house on Fire Island, and I used to take the
Bayshore.
Seaview, I think it was.
That's where we stay.
That's where I had a house there on Seaview.
In fact, that's where all the Jews stay, is in Seaview.
It's awesome. It was quiet.
Yeah.
Oh, it's very quiet.
Beautiful, beautiful. We were about
you go to the town.
You
go to the town next to it, though,
which is a singles town, and people come in for the day and drink.
What's the name of that place?
What's its name?
Something
Ocean
with
View.
Ocean View.
Ocean View.
Ocean View.
Ocean View.
Yeah, and then there's one next to it on the other side that also has like a big restaurant and a party time restaurant and so on that people go to. But in Seaview, it's like a bunch of old Jews looking up at the sun going, hot.
It's quiet. He had a big, beautiful house. It was so nice.
Yeah.
Beautiful house.
Yeah.
And we used to have happy hour on the beach every day with chips and salsa and frozen drinks. Oh, it was awesome. I had a house with 4 women, me and 4 women, and they did all the cooking. And it was just a great summer.
I went out there with my friend Bruce David a couple of times in the early days. Yeah, and we would somebody would have a house and we would just stay there for the night. And that was when Bruce, my good friend Bruce, he didn't have a good way with women. He was going out with a woman on Fire Island. They were walking down a pier, and she said something to him like, no, I don't want to fuck you. So he threw her off the pier.
Really?
He just pushed her, threw her off the pier. Yeah, yeah.
That's where I had my brush with Tony Randall. Yeah. We in '97 we rented a house right there in Seaview, and he was right down the street from us, but his house was back. He had this huge deck that he rented right on the beach.
Oh,
right on the corner of our street, but he had like the corner lot right there.
Yeah.
And we, I got to meet him and his wife, and at the time his young wife and his baby. And he was this doting father taking care of the baby in the carriage while his wife ran into the stores in town. And then he'd be laying on the beach, and Felix Unger was on the deck cleaning the table, singing. You know what I mean? It was Felix Unger. I turn around, it's Tony
Felix.
Randall, and he's cleaning the tables just like Felix Unger singing, and I'm like, isn't this crazy?
The only time I ever met up with Tony Randall was I was on a panel in New York City, and I can't remember what the topic was, but it got around to marijuana, and we were all discussing it and whatever, and some guy in the audience came up and handed Tony Randall a joint. Now, here's the question. What did Felix Unger do with the joint?
Put it in his pocket.
Exactly. He put it in his pocket.
I'll have it later. I'll have it later. All by myself.
I'll never forget that. He put it right in his pocket. He didn't even think about it. Just boom. You know, thank you. You know.
Neat.
Yeah. But
was that like before the 90s, before he had a family?
I think so. It may well be. Yeah. Yeah. The other guy that I met, the other guy I met, you know, you want to say, who have you met people would be amazed that you even met him, was Walter Matthau. I was up at Lake Tahoe. There was a comedy show with the comedians all up there. It was kind of a comedy, a bunch of stand-up comics all doing a show at what's the one? Caesars in Tahoe. And all of a sudden, because he knew a lot of people there, Robin Williams shows up. And he was up in Tahoe doing a movie with Walter Matthau. You remember they did a picture called The Survivors, I think it was called, or something? Mm. And he brought Walter Matthau, and the two of them were backstage with us. And you know how some people are actors, but they play a character? That's their persona on screen. Mm-hmm. No, that was Walter Matthau.
Right, pretty much.
That was Walter Matthau. He looked like a big, huge hangdog. Yeah. You know, but he was amazing.
Like Fortune Cookie, and you know, those are great movies.
Yeah, yeah. But he did a movie with what's his name? With who do you call it? With Robin. And then Robin brought him by. Here's our guest star for tonight, Walter Matthau. So, you know, occasionally you meet people and you go, wow, I met Walter Matthau. You know, because these people are kind of inaccessible. You know, it's not the kind of person that he never ran around doing the talk show circuit, you know?
Right.
So
true.
I was never going to bag, you know, Walter Matthau. The only other one that I did bag for radio, for Sirius, was Samuel L. Jackson, which is another guy you don't hear interviewed all that often, you know, now that I think about it.
And Columbo.
Oh, Peter Falk. That was one of my favorite interviews of all time. Yeah.
And with that, I'm going to say goodnight.
Oh,
these gentlemen, these handsome guys out there.
Yeah? That's sweet. Guys. There was hardly a kiss. Air was between us during that kiss.
No comment.
She hates me. She really hates me. She detests me. Don't you detest me?
I hate him.
Yeah.
Hey, she's got the Gabnet pants too.
We all have. This is the official Gabnet garb. Hello, Ray. Do you have the Gabnet garb on tonight? Well, let's see here. Yes, Vernon Nunn has the Gabnet garb. Yeah.
I did, but I changed my pants before I got on.
How about you, Jeff? Are you wearing
the official Gabnet uniform?
Sorry, what are you wearing? Jeans?
I'm actually wearing something very black, and it was something that I usually wear when I exercise.
Well, you know, the thing is, I have these things on during the day. Like when I wake up, I put them on because it's nice to run around the house in these things. And then I decide not to go out. So then I go, why should I put a pair of pants on? So
what I do. I was home 4 days this week. I wore the Gabnet pants 4 days. Today I went out, so I'm wearing navy blue sweats because I was already out.
Oh, but you're wearing sweats. That's almost a close second to the Gabnet garb.
Oh, we have cats, and you know I don't want to get my work clothes all full of cat hair, so I change when I come home into something that I could not get full of cat hair.
Well, I don't know. She started getting me these things, and I like them so much. You know, since I never
pockets.
What?
Yours have pockets?
Yes, they have pockets. Yeah. Look.
See, mine don't have pockets. I got to get the ones with pockets.
Lots of tissues
losing
in them.
Phone.
I keep lots of tissues in them. That's an old man thing too. Tissues. Oh, wait a minute. I think Ray's going out to put on his pants, his Gabnet pants.
Old man thing would be to have a handkerchief. My father used to carry a handkerchief. Men don't do that anymore.
Oh, a handkerchief.
No, handkerchiefs are out.
Right. My dad always had a handkerchief.
By the way, speaking of handkerchiefs, I got a question wrong the other day on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. And I usually take a great deal of pride in my ability to play Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. And the question was this. It said before they had whistles, soccer referees did what to say that there was a foul?
They had the flag.
Close, very close, very close.
Somersault.
Well, it said to me, it said that they would they would yell or they would shout or something. I felt it was something verbal. Okay, turns out they would drop a handkerchief.
Yeah, yeah, right.
Yeah, I guess I got that wrong. I would have gone home with the $5,000.
Did I win?
Oh, there we go. Oh, those are very nice. Those are very nice.
I don't want to be cremated in anything that looks like that.
I like that.
Why not?
That's not the way to go out.
I guess.
Oh man, you know that's like with white socks, you know, in Bermuda shorts or something, you know, knee-high white socks and Bermuda shorts. It's in the same boat. I don't want to be caught dead in that stuff. Yeah, but I respect you guys. I respect you guys for liking it. You know, I'm not. You know, it's just not me.
They're so comfortable, man. They're so comfortable.
Yeah. I don't put mine on because if I put them on, I don't want to do anything.
Jeff had his hand up. Yes, Jeff.
Yeah, well, I'm in Atlanta today, and I don't think you can wear those kind of pants in Georgia.
In Georgia, can't wear them in Georgia.
I don't think so.
Well, I don't know. You know, I mean, my wife wants me cremated. Why is she bringing this up? And I don't want to be cremated because, you know, I don't know if I don't really believe in the afterlife, but if there is one and I'm sadly mistaken, I would hate to show up totally charred to a crisp, you know? I mean, I'm sorry, no admission to somebody in your shape. You know, so. Whatever.
Good point. Good.
Yes, Jeff.
I want to end up as a cadaver.
Really?
At the laboratory and for the university.
Oh, so they can use you and chop you up.
Yeah, all the guys who want to go to medical school, they have to learn all the time.
Well, you've always been.
Well start here.
Well, you've always been in the medical field, so that probably does appeal to you.
Well, that's right. Plus, I got lots of parts in there. They got to at least use them.
You've been a continuing experiment for the last bunch.
That's right.
Right. So just
yeah. It's a continuous experiment.
Wow.
Just don't get the Abby normal brain.
Abby normal.
That's right.
Oh boy. So what's been happening in the news?
They've just a huge story just reported just after 10 o'clock.
Oh, really? I didn't get it then.
Andrew McCabe was fired by by Sessions, Jeff Sessions, 2 days before his retirement.
Now, who was this again? McCabe?
Yeah, McCabe was fired, the former
Deputy FBI.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. 2 days before his retirement?
Sunday, he would turn 50 and officially retire. He was fired tonight at 10 p.m.
Well, wait a minute. Does he then not get his retirement?
That's right.
That's
what?
Correct.
Yep. That's Donald Trump for you.
Wow.
Donald Trump sent out that tweet to Jeff Sessions to get him to fire him, saying something to the effect of, this guy is coasting. He's got 90 days left before he collects his pension.
So he doesn't collect the pension?
No.
That's right.
Oh my
What
God.
a fucking
Nasty.
asshole. What a motherfucking cocksucking.
That's our president.
Well, I'd ask Patrick, as the only
happened.
Republican on the panel tonight, how he feels about it, but he doesn't like Trump much either. So, you know.
It's the Attorney General, because he's been himself, he has been victim of Donald Trump's ire. He's been embarrassed.
Yeah, so why would he suck up to him?
Right. I don't understand that.
Did any of you guys ever think we would have government by Twitter?
No.
He's going to be alone in the White House. He's going to be a solo dictator.
He's going to be sitting there all by himself hearing voices of former presidents, you know.
Just unbelievable what's going on.
Did you watch Morning Joe this morning, Alex?
No. I don't get it. Wait a minute. I don't get up anywhere close to Morning Joe being on.
Well, you can DVR it, you know.
I'm through here about 2 o'clock in the morning, and I get to bed about 3, and I wake up at 11. You know?
Well, anyway, the attorney for Stormy Daniels was on there.
Oh, I saw the video on that. Yeah.
He was asked point blank, was she threatened physical harm? And he said, yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Now there is.
My question is, if Donald Trump says, I didn't do anything, why is he fighting so hard not to let her tell her story?
Well, why do they care if the story isn't true? Why do they care if they're threatening a $20 million suit if she violates the agreement? Okay. And I'm thinking, why do you want to sue her? If it's not true, let her say what she says, and then you say she's lying through her teeth. You know.
Well, wait a minute. Wasn't there a pregnancy and an abortion involved in this thing? And
no.
No. I thought there was.
No.
That's what I heard.
No, but let me
tell her story in a week from Sunday to Anderson Cooper on 60 Minutes.
60 Minutes.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I think the reason why the lawyer may have said that her life has been threatened is because that would make null and void the confidentiality agreement if she felt her life was in danger.
If it goes to a judge, that's what the judge would say. That null and voids the agreement.
Yeah. So she's got a very good lawyer. I don't know if you've seen this guy on the talk shows. Very smart, very intelligent, very well spoken, and very direct. You know.
But it is interesting that for as much as he, usually comes out and fights and yells and screams, he hasn't said a word about this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He really hasn't. He has said it's not true, or maybe.
Well, the other thing that doesn't make sense is we all know how much braggadocious Donald Trump is. So why isn't he saying, "Yeah, I fucked her"?
How about those tits, huh?
Yeah, how about those tits?
Pussy.
Yeah, I grabbed those tits. I grabbed that pussy. Yeah, right, exactly.
Why is he denying it? You'd think he'd be bragging all up and down about it.
You would think so. What?
I tapped that.
Yeah. Yeah. How about that, huh? Yeah. I mean, I just I think that, under normal conditions, I would say this is kind of like a sleazy little story and doesn't mean shit to a tree. But the fact that he is trying so hard to sweep it under the rug and he's trying to hide it, there's starting to become a little obstruction of justice going on here. There are physical threats being made against her.
And the big one is the campaign finance violation, because in the eve of the election, his attorney paid $130,000 to shut her up.
Now, how can he claim he didn't know what was going on? Oh, the guy just did it. He took it out as a home equity loan against his house.
Would your attorney do that for you, Alex?
I don't think so. I've had to take out a home equity loan to pay my attorney. Come on. You kidding me? We just found girlfriend added up how much money we've spent defending ourselves in this case currently. Thank God she took it from a home equity loan, and we paid most of it back. Over the last 4.5 years, ready? $52,000.
Wow.
Oh, holy but Jesus.
Yeah.
Oh. So you'll get all that back, which is cool.
I think we will, yeah. But boy, they're expensive. But anyway, I want to hear what Stormy has to say. I know he had you know what I can't figure out is why she would have sex with him. Yeah, he's a powerful man, all of that, but it's not like you're saying to yourself, hey, I really got to get me some of that fat, pudgy, orange-colored orangutan.
It was 10 years ago, and also
Yeah.
He might have paid her.
Oh, I'm sure he did. Yes, Patrick.
Yeah, but it's just like Judith Regan with that chief of police or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Carrick would know nothing to look at. You know, and it,
well,
it,
no,
it all had to do with the power.
Yeah, I asked her about that because Judith is a friend of mine, and we were out to dinner one night, and I said, actually, I think I said it on the air at one point. I said, can I ask you anything? And she said, why? She was going out with the chief of police of New York City, and I'm trying to remember his name now.
Carrick.
Huh? Carrick, Bernard Carrick.
Yeah.
And he later became what's his name's partner, former mayor, Giuliani's partner, in Giuliani Partners, right? And then he wound up in jail. But I said to her, Judith, how did you sleep with him? And she went, oh yeah, of course. I said, how could you? I mean, because if you ever saw this guy, he's like, you know, as Alec Baldwin described Trump, kind of human derma, you know? And she said, I'm attracted to powerful men. Enough said, you know. And she had an ongoing affair with him for a while until the whole O.J. thing happened. And I think there was some kind of thing going on with Giuliani and Murdoch and trying to silence her about the suit against her. And he got involved, Carrick, trying to get her to not go after whoever. And she just finally, she broke up with him. But they were going together for quite a while. I said, Judith, and I like Judith a lot. In fact, to be honest with you, I found her incredibly attractive not because of the way she looks. Her demeanor privately is very kind of interesting and fun. Okay, and she said, I asked her. I said, I just can't believe you did it. I said this we were out privately one night having dinner, and I just blurted it out. I can't believe you fucked Bernard Carrick, you know. And she is of such good humor that she, of course, laughed at that and thought that was terrific, you know. But there was a perfect example of an absolutely disgusting human being and power winning over. And she said she enjoyed the power. I said, what I
don't understand is it doesn't give them any power. In fact, it gave him power over her because she wouldn't look at him twice if it wasn't for the power. So I don't get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Patrick.
We don't get it because I think men typically go for physical versus intellectual or anything else first. And I mean, you know, I don't think it's that uncommon for women. I mean, you look around at some of the couples that you see in the stores, and you look at some of the women who you would find attractive and who they're with, and you say, what the fuck? And then you got to think, maybe the guy had got money, maybe the guy is just a really great guy, and, you know, he's got already great qualities, but he's not attractive, but she doesn't care. I mean, hell, I had my ex with me for almost 5 years, and I'm in a wheelchair. Who the fuck would date some idiot in a wheel? I mean, I look at that and I go, what the fuck? So, you know, I mean, a lot of it, men and women are wired differently who they're attracted to.
You would get down on your knees, Patrick, and thank God if you could get down on your knees to thank God.
Well, I thought I would until I dated, well, I shouldn't say dated. The first woman that I went out with after getting paralyzed was a clone of Mimi from the Drew Carey show.
Oh.
And I met her on like Match.com or something, and I didn't know, she was not fully honest on her whole deal. We talked on the phone, she sounded fine. I showed up, and here's this 300-pound woman wearing black so that she would slim down.
Yeah.
But she had eyeshadow on that was purple instead of the blue that Mimi would wear. And I'm there and I'm thinking to myself, well, you're in a wheelchair. You know, you got to take what you can get. Well, as the dinner went on, I was thinking to myself, you know what? I'm not any different mentally now than I was before. I'll be damned if I'm going to settle for anything. So I finished the dinner. I paid for it.
Yeah.
And got the fuck out. So.
And that was it for Mimi or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, and from then on, any woman that I've dated, I've made sure that I was attracted to, physically as well as, you know, intellectually. And I really haven't had a problem. So.
Well, you know, I don't care what your particular physical condition is. The fact is, you're a very intelligent, engaging person. And that would be attractive, I think, to a lot of women. I'm sure for a moment they would think about the wheelchair thing, but I think once they started talking to you, they also would enjoy being around you. You know, so
I charm people anyway when they meet me, regardless, male or female.
You're just a charmer. Yeah, no, I always, the thing that always got me attracted to a woman is if she had a sense of humor. If a woman doesn't have a sense of humor, I don't want anything to do with her. Because it means something to me. Number one, not that she'll laugh at my jokes, but the fact that she has a sense of humor shows a certain intelligence. I think humor, the ability to understand humor, not a pie-in-the-face humor, but humor that has some intellect to it, is a sign of intelligence. How do you feel about that, Ray? Ray, how long you been married?
25 years.
25 years.
Yeah.
Wow. And to what do you owe the success of that marriage?
Well, a lot of it is, for a while there was just my wife putting up with me.
Yeah.
I think it's because she's from France and they understand people's weaknesses. They're like forgiving in a way. I don't know. I honestly don't know, Alex. I mean, it hasn't been easy. It's a lot better than right now than it's ever been, but it's never been easy.
Well, I had some woman who called my show once, and she said, my husband is cheating on me, and I'm going to leave him. And my answer to her was, why? She said, because he cheated on me. I said, no, wait a minute. Does he treat you well? She says, oh, yeah, he treats me very well. I said, okay. Why are you breaking up? Because he cheated on you with another woman? Are you going to let vanity ruin this marriage? You know, I just don't think that's ever been a good excuse to break up a marriage. My husband cheated on me, goodbye. You know, because that's kind of an ego thing. The better thing is to be able to say why and talk about it. You know, but I don't have to talk to you about that because I'm sure you've never had that problem in your marriage, right?
Never.
Wait a minute, you said that with a smile.
He's looking behind.
I don't. Hello, how you doing?
Yeah, not too bad. Well, you can't really say that. It's been kind of a rocky road for me trying to find a new line of employment, but
okay.
Yeah,
let me talk. Let's talk about it in a second. I just want to finish up with Ray. So, sure. So Ray, we won't bring it up any longer because we may not find out how tolerant she really is, and I don't want 25 years of a great marriage to suddenly go out the window because of a stupid talk show.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea.
That's all it took to make a marriage worth having, isn't it?
Well, look, you can't go 25 years with a marriage without having some rocks in the road.
Of course, you know? That shouldn't be like a boulder-sized chip that blows out your tires.
No, but if
it is, then again, the marriage isn't worth it, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, what? It's been 25 years of never having an argument. You know,
who?
You.
The passive aggression has to have lied there somewhere in those 2.5 decades of marital bliss.
Yeah. So I mean,
I do have something I'd like to say, though, regarding the Sessions thing. I don't know if you heard that Sessions fired McCabe.
Yep.
Just a day or two before his pension was collected.
Yeah.
Was to be collected and all that. Did you guys talk about that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I had my own 2 cents. I put on the Facebook here. It's a monologue. It's not very long, but I'm sure you'll like it. And it's on my Facebook page, and it goes, "That's right. Piss off a veteran law enforcement official. It's not like he'll come back later with the judge's blessing to receive his full pension and benefits and additionally go out of his way with all that free time to bite the tiny hands that feed Trump's fat face and provide fellatio to his microscopic genitals. This is, of course, after McCabe, in a fit of PTSD-induced rage and with the blessing of 90% of the American public, rips off Jefferson Beauregard Sessions' Keebler Elven ears. This reminds me of the time I read in history class when Herbert Hoover pissed off all those World War I veterans camping out on the lawn of the White House by telling them to go home without any pensions and benefits."
Wow. Good. Terrific. Yeah. Terrific.
Can I use that at an audition?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. What am I doing with
By the way, let me ask you something, Ray. Are you good at auditioning? Because I was always
I am.
I was always terrible at auditioning.
It's just practice.
I guess.
You know what the more you do it, the better you get at it. And I've taken audition classes and I've taught audition classes. It's a totally different thing than actually doing the job.
Well, you know what it is? Auditioning is a con job.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. But then you get the job and you can then
you do the work.
Then you do the work.
Yeah, but getting the work, you got to learn how to audition.
But
it starts the minute you walk in the building.
Yeah. Well,
the minute you drive up in the parking lot.
Rob will know this in the radio business. I knew guys in the radio business who were great at auditioning. They could get the job, boom, like that. And then they go on the air and they'd say, "Why the fuck did we hire him?"
I hired an actor like that once. I was directing a play. I hired a guy from New York. He'd been off Broadway twice. His name was in the front of the published plays, and he was great at the audition. We started a rehearsal, and he was awful. He couldn't remember a line. He couldn't do anything. I had to fire him.
Yeah, but
I had to do the part.
But he was great at auditioning.
Yeah, he was great at the audition.
What were you going to say, Rob?
I used to audition for voiceover commercials, right?
Yeah.
And it was the most nerve-wracking thing in the world, sitting there in that room waiting with all those other people. And then you go in and they tell you to read something and they put you in a closet and my knees would knock and the paper was shaking in my hand. I never got comfortable with it. I thought maybe I'll start drinking. Just have a shot. It would calm my
Valium or whatever.
And then I thought that's not a good thing to do because I'll become a fucking alcoholic. I'll be successful, and I'll become an alcoholic because I won't be able to go on an audition without a drink.
Proving once again that unlike a bisexual, you can never have it always.
Yes, Ray.
Or, I'm sorry, pansexual.
I just wanted to say that when I stopped getting nervous from auditioning and just doing it was when I didn't care whether I got the job or not anymore. Exactly. It was just there to actually perform, which I enjoy doing, make contacts with people, and practice. And if I got the job, that was totally secondary. I didn't even think about it. And then I started getting more work.
Well, I used to go to these.
And I'm smart. Yeah.
I used to go to these auditions in New York. And sometimes I get a call from the person at the agency saying, "Would you come in and audition for us?" And I'd say, "Okay, sure." And one of the reasons they were is a lot of them were women who were doing the auditioning. And they just wanted to see what I looked like because they heard me on the radio. So they didn't care whether they were going to give me a job or not. They just wanted to meet me. All right. But I would go down to these things, and you know this, and there'd be like a room full of people, and we all have our scripts that we're going in to read. All right. And then out of the side of your ear, you would hear somebody say, "And your name? Orson Welles." You know, and you just you throw the paper in the garbage and walk out. Richard Keel. Richard Keel was the guy that got all the work in New York City, and he would show up and go, "I'm Richard Keel," and you would go, "Well, that's it. I think maybe I'm going to go have an early lunch." But
back in the 80s, I got an audition for a Hellman's mayonnaise commercial, and I'm sitting in this beautiful studio in New York City, and in the waiting room. And all of these people, they all knew each other. And they're talking about their kids and their grandkids. And then I hear this voice. and it's the guy who for years did the Hillman's commercials, and you recognized his voice, and then I felt, what the fuck am I doing here?
Exactly. Well, I
have no business being here.
I hate that.
But the next hardest part is reading the copy.
Yes,
they brought me
one line.
They brought me in once, and they sat me down. They said, "Now here's the script," and I saw the script, and they said, "Now would you read it for us?" And they roll tape, and it reads, "Molly knows a lot about something knits, skinny knits, or something like that. It has something to do with the way wool is woven, but what she doesn't know is she has ho-hum mouth." And when I hit the ho-hum mouth, as soon as I saw the ho on the page and the hum after it, I started laughing insanely. And he said, "Cut tape. Mr. Bennett, is there a problem?" No. Just roll the tape again and we'll try. Molly may know a lot about skinny knits, but what she doesn't know is she has...
Skinny tits.
And they go, "Cut, Mr. Bennett. Are you having a problem there?" "No, let me just try it one more time, please." "Molly knows a lot about." "Oh no!" And I just broke up completely. And the person said, "Cut. Is there a problem, Mr. Bennett?" I said, "Yes. This is the worst piece of shit I've ever had to read." And they said, "We'll see you later."
Thank you.
You just told them to give me 5 minutes while I get the giggles.
Bring in Orson Welles or Richard Keel. We know they won't laugh at our stupid copy.
Because they have no sense of humor.
Yeah. So that was my, and I'm sure our good friend here, Ray, has his own stories about auditioning.
Oh, I have a lot of stories. Yeah.
Did you ever have anything like that where the copy was so bad you couldn't stop laughing?
No, I've never had that happen. That's why I was laughing so hard. That was great.
Yeah.
Ho-hum mouth.
Oh, somebody said Richard Keel from Moonraker. No, Richard Kiley is who I meant.
Yeah, Richard Keel was the big giant Moonraker guy.
Richard Kiley. He got all the voices.
Also in the one before that with the underwater film. I can't remember the name of it.
Yeah.
James Bond, right?
Yeah.
Who's the guy? Recently, there's a guy. What's his name?
No, that was later. That was one of.
I'm trying to remember the actor's name, but he does all the MasterCard commercials. He's the voice. He's been the voice of MasterCard for the last 15 years.
Oh,
Keel wasn't Happy Gilmore.
No. If I wish I could remember his name. He was in the Almost Famous. He was the star of Almost Famous. And his voice, I mean, that guy has made a fortune because these commercials pay good money.
Oh, man, do they ever.
Yeah.
But the voiceover world is very closed, as you know. I mean, it's like you say, everybody in the room knows each other. It's so hard to get into that small group of people. And if you listen to TV and you listen to the animated shows, you can hear, that's what's his name from SpongeBob. Oh, and he's also on The Simpsons. Oh, and he's doing this commercial. It's like the same dozen guys.
Yep. SpongeBob happens to be a friend of mine.
Who is that?
I don't watch TV.
What's his name?
He's
Tom Kenny.
Canadian.
Tom Kenny.
Yeah, Tom Kenny. Yeah.
Well, Tom is great, and so are a couple of other people that I know who do it. They're lucky to be in it because what's happened with animation now is they give all the voices to actors whose voices you know. And you kind of go, gee, it used to be like there was this small crowd. It was like, Dawes Butler, Mel Blanc, and a couple other people. June Foray, who just died recently. She was Rocky the Squirrel and, Broomhilda and all the Warner Brothers cartoons But it was a federation of people who did voices for cartoons, and now they go out and they just hire actors. Oh, starring the voice of.
Yeah.
And I kind of hate that because I like the fact that Tom Kenny got his job because he did this great character voice.
I took lessons with Nancy Wolfson for a while. Mm-hmm. You know who Nancy is?
No.
She's quite a titan in the industry. She worked in she was an agent for a while. I had so much I gave up I'll be quite honest with you. I couldn't take her classes. I went through a whole bunch of them, and I got really frustrated. And finally, after a while, I just said, this probably isn't for me. It was difficult.
The thing is that
I had gotten lucky. A friend of mine who I worked with in college radio got a job where his job was to hire the voiceover people for the Maury show. Calls me up one day and he says, "Hey," he goes, "you do voiceovers. Come on in." He goes, I pay this guy a ton of money to do on the next Maury, that guy.
Yeah.
And he brought me in. He gave me a bunch of scripts. There was like 4-second one, a 8-second one, a 12-second one, and then like a 15-second promo. And I couldn't do them. He was giving me direction in my ear, and I couldn't interpret what his direction was. It was a subtle thing that I just didn't feel. And he told me, he said, "Dude, I don't know. I'm giving you the same direction I give the other guy, and he gives me what I need. You're not giving me what I need." I was,
and it was something very simple.
I don't remember. It was just 30 years ago. But he said, "Hey, man, you could do it, right? You're a friend of mine. I'm going to give you the money."
The most money I've ever made in voiceovers was I was the voice on 7 of the first 8 HBO one-night stands. And to this day, I get paid. I mean, this is like 20, 25 years later, and they still pay me like for the Bill Maher one they're running on HBO Go. And I got checked last a couple of weeks ago for like $79. Not a lot of money, but you add $79 over, and then I had a lot of other shows earlier on. I had like those 7 shows that kept paying over and over and over and over. So it's not a bad thing if you get a little something like that.
Yeah, it's nice. And then they pay you sometimes not to work, which is a nice thing.
I had a friend of mine who was in a film. What was it? The Lady in Red. His name is Steve Kravitz, and he had done a couple of movies. He was in some Clint Eastwood film, Dirty Harry film. But he was in this thing. He went in and he did this part for The Lady in Red, and they never used the scene. They cut him out of it completely. But his name was in the credits. If you go look at IMDb, Stephen Kravitz is listed in the credits for Lady in Red, and he never appeared in it. So, go figure. Yeah.
Does he get paid for that if his name is in the credits?
Yeah, sure.
So he didn't appear in the movie, but he got paid anyway.
Yeah, no, he got paid, I guess, whatever scale was or whatever. But anyway, so it's interesting. There are actually 3 announcers here on this show. So, I often said that I used to go to AFTRA meetings, and that the room tone in the room was different than the room tone anywhere else. If you went to, like, a steelworkers union meeting, everybody's going, but after a meeting, it's like,
the baritones are out.
Yeah,
for the evening.
Right, exactly. So we had another dog incident.
Another one?
Another one.
Oh.
The plane actually realized that the dog wasn't supposed to be on the plane. So they landed in like Omaha, halfway between where they were going, and let the dog off and then sent him back. And by the way, that dog that wound up in Japan, they sent him back by private jet.
Oh, geez.
First class, I heard, yeah.
Private jet.
Yeah, wow. It's a dog's life.
Yeah, I wonder if it's
a dog's life, Mr. Lohman.
Yeah. Would you like the kidney and liver, or would you like the?
That phrase should be changed to a cow's life or something.
Now let's find out why in the world, Brian, you lost your job.
Yeah.
Now you may remember when we last left Brian, which was a long time ago because he hasn't called in a while. He was hauling human organs around, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
So what happened?
Well, so when you work this particular venue, you mess up once by casually conversing with the client, and the client is the one who's and this was a hospice care delivery, and the nurse was there as well. The client was, in the hospital for 3 months because of all the water weight he had gained and subsequently had to get removed. And so he was a little burnt out, and I could understand why. And he was middle-aged, and he was telling jokes, dirty jokes, and all that. And I was laughing, and I was kind of just saying, egging him on a little because I was amused, I was entertained. And then I come to find out a few days later that the nurse had reported me, and my account with that particular outfit had been terminated.
Why? Because you talk with the guy?
Yes. And then subsequent that, in addition to my having had it, because this happened to me, very similar instances like this happened to me twice before, and finally I had enough. Wrote a scathing review of my employer on Indeed.com. They found out about it, and I just basically said, "Listen, I think you're a jelly-spined coward who has no conviction whatsoever," and that was it.
Well, so you lost your job because you talked to somebody.
In a nutshell, yes.
Yeah, I mean, it was.
Or was it?
What were you going to say, Ray?
Or was it because of what you wrote on Indeed?
I think it was more the latter than the former. Something. How employers are.
Why did you write?
No, I'm not. I'm not giving you a hard time, but I was just trying to figure it out.
Why did you write that about your employer? I mean, why did you feel it was a good idea?
Because I had enough.
Oh, okay. So you were ready to lose the job anyway.
I was ready to, metaphorically speaking, break out my AK-47 and start wasting some fuckers.
Let's not say that, because some people are going to take that seriously, and before we know it, somebody's out at your house.
As far as I'm concerned,
the
fucking weenie ass douchebags.
Yeah, you don't have an AK-47, do you?
No, I can't even afford one. Get a lot of pot to piss in.
So you're looking for a job now.
Indeed, I am.
And what kind of job are you looking for? Because not every day they want people to haul organs around.
Anything I can find that doesn't involve interfacing with the mass public at large for extended periods of time. I could never go back to retail for that very reason.
Why? Because you wouldn't last 5 minutes in that, right?
No, I would not now. 10, 15 years ago, I would. 5 months at least.
Yeah.
I would last, but not.
Yeah.
So my age has expanded, but my patience has dwindled.
Yeah.
You should Google Slab City, SLAB City. And there are a bunch of kind of down and outs who have YouTube channels, and they're claiming with YouTube ads, they're making $2,700 to $3,700 a month. Check it out. Slab City, all these weird people will pop up, and some of them have pretty interesting stories.
What kind of job is it?
It's a YouTube job. They just subsist on YouTube ads.
I see.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
How do you do that? Oh yeah, you've got to get more than 3 people at a time watching you.
Oh, you got people. I remember when I was doing that job still, about a few weeks before we parted ways. I made a delivery to a hospital, and I was talking to one of the staff aides, on the lower end of what I call the scrotum pole.
Yeah.
So anyway, because here's the thing, I have a thing about this, the totem pole. I call it the scrotum pole, because if you manage to reach to the top, you might just have a ball or two. That is, unless of course you gagged to death before getting there.
Right.
But nevertheless, we were talking, and he was telling me about the nature of his work and how he has to work with uppity doctors who think their title. No offense, Jeff, who think their titles are godly, and that they're little tin gods who walk around and bless everything. And I was saying, it's funny that these people act the way they do, and yet they make a fraction of the amount of money that someone, say, like Logan Paul would have made before all this controversy with the Japanese suicide thing hitting the fan, He's far less qualified than they are to do an operation, but he's making he was a shit ton more money than them.
Yeah.
And could retire several times over at his young age of 22 or 21. Fuck you.
Yeah. I don't.
Fucking uppity motherfuckers.
I got to get my dog. I'll be right back.
Okay. I don't know if I were to go looking for a job today, which I've given up totally, because I just figure, why be insulted by the fact that when I walk in the door, the person at HR looks at me like I'm a Martian, right? Look at Gramps. He thinks he can get a job here. You know, yeah. Well, Gramps knows.
Hey,
more
Alex.
than you do.
Hey, Alex. Look at me. I got a job at Home Depot. You could be a greeter.
Did you really? Did you get a job at Home Depot?
Heck yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Wave your hand at people, extend your middle finger, and jam it right up their ass when they piss you off.
I don't know. I think I'm even too old to be a greeter at Walmart.
Oh no.
I don't think you have the temperament for it. I know I don't. And I'm 36.
Yeah, well, but knowing you, you'd pull your penis out to everybody that walked in the door. You know.
And open wide, motherfucker. I'll jerk right off in there.
Yeah.
Say trip for the can.
Yeah. You know, I listened to the show last night that we did, and I went, gee, that was so good, you know.
Oh, look at that cute puppy.
The dog appeared.
Oh.
Yeah, and then I dragged the conversation to hell. I know.
No, but I sat there and I listened to it, and I went, you know, I would love to offer this to radio stations because a show like this was so good. And yet I'm going, they won't listen to me. You know, they'll dismiss me because of my age immediately, out of hand. You know, plus
because it's too real for them.
Plus, I have to find a radio organization that isn't going bankrupt.
Well, you knew that. You called iHeartRadio a while ago.
Oh, I said it was going
bankrupt.
bankrupt.
Because I remember what you said about it.
I'm surprised that Cumulus hasn't gone into bankruptcy. Have they yet, Rob?
Yeah, and that's why IMS is retiring.
Oh, okay. So
they're hurting.
So you've got two of the biggest radio broadcasting organizations in this country. I think the two biggest. Maybe Entercom beats them now because they bought up CBS. But two of the biggest radio organizations bankrupt. You never heard about that in the radio business. They never went bankrupt. You just simply cashed checks.
Money.
What? License to print
money.
Well, you know, it was that they just bought up everything that wasn't nailed down, and
paid much.
And avarice and greed.
Avarice and greed.
They paid too much. Now they got these properties that they paid millions and millions of dollars, and they gotta rape it in order to scrape money from it. So that's why it's what you get.
Yeah. It's really it's terrible. It's terrible.
Legalized rape.
Yeah. Well, if it were like the old days and you had like people could only own like 7 stations or something, you know, there'd be a lot more jobs for everybody.
Good luck convincing Sandy Dick Hair Pie to allow that.
I will tell you though, it would be interesting because back in the day when you could only own 7, there was a much smaller pool of people fighting for your advertising dollars. Today, everybody is advertising all over the internet. There's so many more places to spend your money. And so a smaller piece of the pie comes to you. So that makes it difficult. And that's what some people say is the reason why radio needed to consolidate that way, because you really couldn't, there wasn't enough cash to go around for all the advertising that's now available between, you know, the new medias and all that.
Well, I somewhat understand what you're saying. On the other hand, you never had in this business organizations going bankrupt because they had to show a certain fiduciary ability in order to get a broadcast license in the first place. That was part of the thing you had to show the FCC, your ability financially to run a radio station at a loss for, say, 3 years without you know, going under. And that went away. And all of a sudden these guys like iHeart buy 1,200 radio stations and nobody cares whether they can afford to keep them going. And that's why they're going bankrupt. It's kind of like, think about this. I often said, you know, it's wonderful there are all these McDonald's and they're very clean places to go eat, right? But wait for the day that company starts going under. You're going to have all these McDonald's turning into festering pools of filth and disgustingness because they can't afford to take care of them. It's the same thing with these radio stations. You really have a whole bunch of radio stations that are just terrible because they can't afford to run them any other way.
Well, they strive for mediocrity because if you own 7 or 6 in a market, you can't all be number one. So you try not to get in each other's way. And so nobody fights to be a winner. They just fight to make a little bit of money.
I know a guy that programmed a radio station, I think for iHeart, who was told, we don't want you to do well. And he said, why? He said, because we have another station across town that does very well doing the same format, and we want you to lose.
Yeah, that happens.
You know, so if you're being told not to win, you know, I mean, when I was in this business, you just, you know, we were nuts about trying to undercut the other guy and do a better radio program and get a bigger audience and, you know, whatever.
Here's our ball cutter. Would you like us to perform the amputation, or would you prefer to do it yourself?
Yes, exactly. Patrick.
You know, just thinking about, you know, and I brought up the Milwaukee station in the past. Mm-hmm. iHeart owns 6 stations, and they're all in the same building. Mm-hmm. They're about a mile away from me, and they're all different format. And what I mean by that is one of them is an AM talk station, and the other 5 are different music stations, and they're all very different, from country to R&B mm-hmm. to whatever alternative is today mm-hmm. to 80s rock, and then I think another one is like light rock or whatever, you know.
Right.
And they all seem to be doing fairly well, but to your point of don't do well, I can see that happening within that building, especially with the music station, because if there's 5 of them competing, even though they're different formats, you know, you may have a problem with, you know, the different hosts and popularity and things like that. I don't know, it seemed like a clusterfuck to me.
Yeah.
So the AM station's doing great, and that's the only one.
Well, it does great in the ratings, but if it's most of the AM talk stations are aimed at old people over 55, and you can't sell that. Madison Avenue doesn't believe that anybody over 55 spends money, I guess, on radio.
Yeah. So, yes, Ray has his hand up.
Alex, do you know what happened to KGO out here? I mean, they've just destroyed it. Do you have any idea what it was?
Okay. First of all, the first thing, the KGO, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you this so that we put a little, we have a little history for people to relate to. Yeah. Was maybe the most successful radio station in the United States. It had been like #1 in San Francisco for 35 years, I think. And it was a talk station. And all of a sudden, one day, they went from doing the ratings the way they were doing it, which was a diary method, where people would like write down what they were listening to every hour. Like, that's going to work. Like, people aren't going to wait to the end of the week and then fill it out, and they fill it out with the thing they think they listen to the most. And they went to a thing called the people meters, which are a meter you have on you that picks up a subsignal on the radio station and accurately can tell when you change the station. It will record that, okay? It hears everything you hear, okay? And all of a sudden, they went from being #1 to like #7 or 8, because all of a sudden they found out that the way they were popular was because the old system favored them. But the new system, which was far more accurate, didn't. And so then when they went down to 7 or 8, they started getting flop sweat. They didn't know how to deal with that, and then it got worse and worse and worse and worse, and then they sold it out to Cumulus, and they did it even worse. And now I think, if I'm not mistaken, they're like #20 in the market.
It's terrible now. The only good shows left are, you know, weird hours on the weekends when they have like what's the comedian up in Marin, I forget her name. She has a good show. The people they don't pay, basically.
Yeah, well, that's everybody though today.
Yeah, and then they have like these canned. They have these, you know, they replaced Ron Owens with some canned, terrible, awful show. I mean, it was a great station. I mean, I used to listen to you in the morning, and then I would listen to KGO the rest of the day, all the way into the night, and it was fantastic radio. And then, now it's gone.
It was the king. I mean, it was the station, for instance, that when I was doing a show, I was competing against. You know, they were the main competitor. they did a lot of nasty stuff where if you were the other guy, I mean, like I had a hard time getting guests for the show because they had to have them first, you know.
Right.
And so if a guy came in for the day, he wasn't going to stay overnight just to do my show. Okay. So, I mean, we had a lot of problems that way, but that station was very, very popular.
Yeah.
And I just, you know, it is the fall of a great radio station. But what's interesting about San Francisco, and this is the only place in the United States where this happens. Do you know what the *1 station is?
NPR or
yeah, that's right.
KQED.
Yeah. KQED is the *1 station in San Francisco, and it's an NPR station, folks. It's non-commercial, because what happened was they never rated the non-commercial stations in the past. They considered it just a service to all the advertising, ad revenue broadcasters. And then they decided, oh, well, let's also see how many people listen to KQED as well, or the non-commercial stations. And all of a sudden, I think KQED came in like at #3. And then as time has gone on, it's like #1 now in San Francisco. They can't make a penny off of it, but, you know, they're #1.
Nevertheless, they're probably pontificating upon how, collectively speaking, they can unzip their flies and plop their fat dicks into that proverbial soup.
What?
This is by the way.
I'm talking about advertisers, money mongers,
QED,
the people who are looking at QED and saying, "Oh, it's profitable now."
May I please announce here and now, folks, if you've never heard the show before, Brian is an interesting human being, and his way of describing things is no less than amazing.
Life is.
By the way, Forbin Colossus, who writes on our chat room verbosely, mentioned the announcer that I was looking for what do you call it, MasterCard, was Billy Crudup.
Oh yeah,
yeah. He's been doing MasterCard forever.
Yeah.
And the residuals on that must be great. Just great. You know.
Oh, they are.
Yeah.
And it's such easy work. I mean, once you get it, that work is so easy. You're done. You're in and out of there in an hour, and you get paid big bucks.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you get paid like, I don't know what the structure is now. It used to be you got like $500 for the first time it played, and then for the next 13 times it played, you got another $500 each time. This was on networks.
Yeah, and if it's somebody famous, he might have something better worked out too.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know?
Yeah. He might.
Like Donald Sutherland doing all the car commercials.
Yeah.
He must get about
John Hamm does Mercedes.
Yeah.
You know.
Morgan Freeman.
Yeah. Morgan.
Peter Coyote.
Hey, is it true? I heard that Peter Coyote never does a second take. He reads a script, and that first take, that's it.
I have heard him speak live, and I believe that. He never makes a mistake when he speaks. His grammar is always perfect. He never stumbles over any words.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Yeah.
You know, that was his, Digger name? He was part of the Diggers. Do you remember the Diggers?
He was a digger. They used to, for those of you who don't know, in the Summer of Love in the late 60s on The Hate, the Diggers were a group of really cool people. They used to drive around in a pickup truck, throw out food to people and money. They'd throw out dollar bills, $5 bills, just shower in the street with this.
And Peter Coyote, I don't know what his real name is, took that name as kind of his digger name and maintained that name when he went into acting and voiceovers and everything else,
Yeah.
Yeah. I miss Scoop Nisker.
Oh, Scoop Nisker. Yeah.
I think he's a Buddhist Zen monk now or something,
Yeah, he was on 104.5 for years.
Yeah. Right. He had like a byline or something. And his tagline was, "If you don't like the news, go out and make
your own.
Make some of your own." Yeah.
Yep. That's right.
No, that could be interpreted the wrong way too.
Yeah, right.
Make up some of your own. Okay.
Well,
hey,
we
Alex,
live in insane times. You know?
Alex, do you ever talk to Buddy Love anymore, or Richard?
Oddly enough, Buddy Love in about 2 weeks is going to be staying here at my place for a couple of days. So maybe I'll have him on the show or something. So
you gotta, yeah.
I've auditioned with him a couple times for some car commercials.
How do we explain Buddy Love to people? He basically he's a singer. He had a band. I don't know. Is he still? I guess he's still doing it.
Yeah.
But the business is not what it was. You know, it used to be he could work every night he wanted to, and now it's kind of like, you know, once every couple of weeks, and nobody wants to hire bands anymore, especially a guy who's singing like old standards and stuff like that. But he was terrific. He was great. In fact, we even sang together. Hold on a second. Where is it? Is it here?
Oh, you used to sing When the Shark Bites.
Wait a minute.
You guys used to sing that all the time.
I guess I don't have it here right now. I thought I had it. I guess I got rid of it. But
you had a big part in getting his shows to sell out. I remember, just because you would talk about them all the time.
Yeah.
So I'd go to like this venue or that, and it would be packed.
Yeah.
You
know, the shark bites with his teeth there. Yeah, we used to do Mac the Knife and things like that.
Mac the Knife, yeah.
See, the internet screwed everything up. You know, so much of the younger audience, 20 to early 30s, are doing gaming, Twitch, and shit like that.
Yeah, I mean, this thing I use here, which is OBS
because we
Studio.
need a reality other than this one to escape to.
Well, the thing that I do here, I do using a thing called OBS Studio, and a lot of people use that.
Yeah, that's a good one.
But a lot of people use that to play their video games online, so you can see them live in real time playing games. And
You've admitted to being a gamer, Bennett, haven't you?
Yeah, I there's certain games that I like and I enjoy, but I've got to admit that I've gone on to some of these places, got on the PlayStation, you can go to them, where people are literally live playing games. And it's fun to sit there and watch somebody else play a game.
I always enjoyed that. Even when I was a kid, I always enjoyed other family members when they used to imbibe in the hobby I imbibed in. I used to enjoy watching them play, and friends too when I had them over, when I had a social life then. And everything was more balanced.
Yeah, I'm sure Jeff is a big gamer, right, Jeff?
Not much like that.
Vernon is a big gamer. He plays Morse code. Yeah. There we go.
Hey, that's right on cue.
You know,
hey, Alex, I used to have a Pong machine.
No, he actually has his key right there.
What's your call sign?
N4UL.
Hey, you know who else is a big gamer?
Who?
Two other people I can think of who are big gamers. Charlie Sheen and Kevin Spacey. They play Dick Dat Ho.
What?
Dick Dat Ho.
Dick Dat Ho. Okay, fine. Leave it to Brian. Leave it to Brian. Please, everybody, if you live, where do you live again, Brian?
I live in Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh. If you live anywhere near Pittsburgh and you've got any kind of a job at all, please hire Brian, because quite frankly, if he doesn't work for a while, he's going to kill somebody. And I really, well,
I'll be civil. I'll start, as a radio host here locally says, if you're going to kill a bunch of people, start with yourself first.
Yeah. Oh. What kind of a radio host is that? Anybody have any? What do you? I haven't asked Patrick really. What do you think about the whole Stormy Daniels thing? Do you think it's going to amount to anything? Because you're always the naysayer.
I don't really think it's going to matter. I think I made a comment last week that, as far as the Trump supporters go, nobody's going to care, because the evangelicals voted for him after his pussy grabbing comment. An affair that happened before he was president 10 years ago is not going to bother them one iota.
Out of the White House, yeah.
And the other thing is, I think even if this, even if it goes to court, even if they have to settle, all of that, it's a private matter, and I think it's not going to matter for the presidency. They certainly can't impeach him over this. It had nothing to do with his job. It took place prior to. This is all private shit that happened in the past. So I think a lot of what the people that don't like Trump are hoping for is not going to happen. And, it's the same with the impeachment and all of that. I mean, I'm very skeptical of all of this shit because I was one of the loudest voices on your show 2 years ago saying there's no fucking way they're going to elect Trump. Anybody. Well, he's elected, and frankly, I think he's going to be president for 2 terms. And that.
Oh, no. Never underestimate the stupidity of the American people.
Yeah.
And the ignorance as well.
Years.
You can call it stupidity or you can call it history. I mean, it's very rare that a president has not been elected to a second term. And frankly, just like I said the other night, like what happened in the district in Pittsburgh where the Democrat got elected, it had very little to do with politics of Republicans and Democrats. It had to do with the attitudes of the people who voted. And it was a 20% margin for Trump last year. Well, because those people are blue-collar workers, and they were tired of, just the bullshit. And, of course, Hillary didn't appeal to them.
Yep.
But they're regular.
They want to change, and they didn't care where the change came from.
Right, but they're regular Democrats. They're blue-collar, middle-of-the-road Democrats, and they went back to voting now with this congressional thing the way that they normally would. But Trump appealed to them because Hillary offered them nothing. And they very much wanted to shake things up. And I don't think it's a bellwether for anything. I think other elections in other states will be more indicative.
Ray has his hand up. Ray?
Yeah. Patrick, I remember you saying that the other night, but I went and looked, and Romney got 17% of the vote in that district when he ran, just so you know. So I'm not totally sure that that's
so it's not that unusual.
Myself.
Yeah.
It wasn't.
Romney was running against, was it Obama?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. 2012.
And he
was also running in 2008 too. But.
And you got to think about this, and I'm the last person that will bring race into anything. But if you've got middle class, just down home steel workers and that type of person, they're probably looking past the black guy and looking for a white guy.
Hey, Patrick, that's why I vividly remember in 2008 seeing this was in 2008, mind you, against McCain when he won the nomination over Romney. There were signs everywhere that read Democrats for McCain, a.k.a. I'm a racist fuckwad.
Oh, and there's...
Serious, I see it, I don't believe it, and I call them out on it. But I know it's there, and I don't make up my own reality, unlike some liberals and a lot of conservatives do.
Yes, Patrick. Yeah, but here's the thing, though. You mentioned McCain. I didn't like the campaign that McCain ran because I felt that he was too bent on trying to win, and he was telling everybody what they wanted to hear, and it wasn't the McCain that I came to respect.
In 2000.
Yeah, I mean, McCain was one of those Republicans who I respected. When he ran, and then of the Sarah, what's her name?
Palin.
Palin. Yeah. I mean, where did that come from? Who came up with that? Who came up with that terrific idea? But I mean, when I look at Trump, if I had to have a Republican, man, why did we miss voting for McCain? You know? I mean, however, we did have Obama, who I did not think was as qualified a candidate, to be honest with you. Because if I were, you know, if I were HR and I were hiring presidents, I would ask for people to bring in their resumes, and certainly McCain's resume was much better than Obama's.
And so was Clinton's, to be fair, as far as experience
goes.
Yeah.
Oh, he was governor of Arkansas twice, not once, twice. I mean, there was a time when
I'm talking about Hillary.
Oh, you're talking about Hillary.
She had, you know, she was a senator in New York.
Her resume was terrific, but I think she was, you know, there are people that are perfect candidates and there are people who aren't. And I don't think she had any of the qualities of a perfect candidate.
She's not genuine like. She always felt to me like it was forced and like she was forcing herself on us. That's how I felt. I voted for her because I didn't want to see Trump. But if I had to pick a Republican candidate, that if I were going to vote Republican, I like Jeff Flake.
Yeah, I like Jeff Flake. Yeah.
He's thinking about running against Trump in 2020.
I know. I like him because I like that he's calling out shit that is going on in his party that his fellow Republicans won't call out.
That's because what about Rand Paul?
You know what?
What about Rand Paul?
The problem is we live in such a divisive age that if you are a Republican, you feel you have to define yourself in a certain way and rigidly that way. Whereas years ago, you could be a Republican and be a liberal Republican. There was such a term. McCain was a liberal Republican.
Or a respectable conservative Democrat.
That we wouldn't be sitting here arguing about gun rights as a left or right issue. You know, it was either a gun rights issue or a non-gun rights issue. But here we make it left and right. If you're on the right, you've got to stand up for the Second Amendment, by golly, you know. Yeah. And I just see that, no, but I just see a lot of issues we have today that aren't left or right issues.
The Republican Party is a cult.
Now
it's a fucking cult. Yeah, it's a fucking cult.
You know, Ronald Reagan was the a huge advocate for gun control when he was governor, because he was afraid of the Black Panthers and other groups like that, and he was pushing for gun control. And I mean, you can't get any more Republican than Ronald Reagan.
No, you can, according to the Tea Party.
Yeah. Well, but the Tea Party, I don't think represents the best of Republicans either. I mean, I think Jeff Flake is
any more than Hillary represents the best.
Well, I think the wonderful thing about Jeff Flake is that Jeff Flake is a Republican, but he's like Patrick here. He's a Republican that's reasonable, you know. That's
old school. You know, they're willing to listen. They're willing to compromise. They're willing to cross. You know, they don't.
Bernie Sanders reminds me of a liberal who's reasonable.
You know, 0 or 100.
Yeah. By the way,
they just have no more power anymore.
Yeah. Let me bring up one other thing here. I noticed that when you stood up and walked in, Rob, you've lost a lot of weight.
40 pounds.
40 pounds.
Congratulations.
I got 40 more to go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can I ask how much you weigh now, or do you not want to say that?
Here, I was up to almost 252.
Now you're not tall, are you? You're what?
Almost 5'10". A little. I'm not quite 5. I'm a little over 5'9".
So you were up to 250.
I'm 6 foot.
Because I
252, the most I ever weighed in my life.
Because I got up to 244.
And you're taller than me.
Yeah, I'm taller than you, and I lost 55 pounds.
So I want to lose another 40, and we're going on vacation in middle of April. And so with this diet that we're on, you have to follow steps, right? Right now I'm in phase 3, and in phase 3, it's Atkins diet. There's no carbs, right?
Right.
So we're not eating 500 calories a day. We're no longer injecting, none of that stuff. We're just eating an Atkins type diet right now. No carbs. And at the end of the month, by the 30th of the month, we'll be allowed to then start to add carbs slowly. This portion of the diet is now supposed to reset the hypothalamus.
Yeah.
So that we don't gain weight.
Is it supposed to be 0 carbs?
Very close to 0 carbs.
Rob, do you exercise?
Because I know under Atkins you can do up to 20 a day in the initial phase.
been really keeping it. What I'm watching is getting on the scale every morning and making sure that I don't fluctuate 2 pounds one way or the other. They don't want you to lose weight. They want you to maintain. Well, so every morning we get up. Today I was down 0.2. Yesterday I was up 0.4. But since we've been on this since Monday, and it's been right there within 0.4 of
with me, I've had
211.
I've had a terrible thing where I have been doing about 20 carbs a day of one thing or another, but I can't lose weight. And I can't, and I'm not gaining it particularly. Some days I'm up, some days I'm down a pound, but I can't lose anything. And I think maybe it's the winter or something like that that's making it impossible. But you know, I haven't gained anything. I'm, you know.
That's the important thing, though. You're not gaining.
Well, I was as low at one point. I went as low as 180, and that was when I was really depressed. But then I started eating again. I went to about 185, 186, and now I'm at 189, and that's pretty much where I am every day.
And I want to get down to 175.
Yeah, maybe that's your body's way, Alex, of saying that's where you need to be.
All I'm saying is whatever you're doing is working, and it was good to see you looking thin. Or thinner.
I had a question for Rob, though.
This is the thinnest I've been now since before I started my current job.
Yeah.
I'm wearing clothes that I haven't worn, and they're getting loose on me. So I'm working back down.
What, you had a question, Brian?
Actually, I may have a question for you too, Alex and Rob. If there's any way via Skype or Facebook, if you could message me what your respective diet plans are, so I could lose some pounds myself. I'm 6 foot, 240 and 250 within that range.
Just go on to Google and look up low carb diets, and just look and see what it amounts to, and then you have to kind of stick to that. Just don't take in lots of carbs, and you will lose weight. There's no question about it.
Diet is a controversial kind of diet. I inject myself. My wife and I, we both are doing it, injecting ourselves every morning with something called HCG.
Oh.
And then with that, you're on a 500 calorie a day diet.
Is this something that you need a prescription for?
Yes.
You said you don't exercise, or not as much that other?
Not when you're on.
I don't know your name. You asked him that question.
You can't.
Not when you're on 500 calories. I could start exercising now.
Yeah.
But when you're 500 calories new, you can't.
Well, I think that once we start getting some decent weather around here and I can go out for walks.
Yeah, it's almost the end of March and we're still freezing our nuts off.
I'm freezing. The other day I went out and I just said, well, just walk down the street. I thought I was going to come back, and have to have one arm cut off because it had gangrene, from the cold. It was that bad.
You need one of those exercise bicycles, Alex.
What?
Yeah, exercise. You need an exercise bicycle. One. A normal bike that you could hook up to a.
Well, I used to have the joke that I have a stationary bicycle. Unfortunately, it isn't meant to be. So, that's what that's all about. Hey, we're kind of coming up on the end of this whole thing. Boy, nice night tonight.
A rim job shot for that joke.
No, thank God Phil isn't here to play a rim shot. By the way, Phil, if you're listening. We wish you all the best.
Where is he?
He's out tonight shooting some photos for a rock band or something. But he on Monday is going in to get the old prostate. They take a melon scooper and it's a very simple operation.
You could audio record a rim job.
Yeah,
I would very much like to use that instead of the rim shot.
Thank you so much, John Palouis. It's always good having you here. And come back and see us again next week. Patrick, thank you so much for last night, and thank you so much for all the times you joined us on this program. Rob Alfano, the voice of Gabnet, thank you. Thanks, Brian, good to see you again. Call more often. Don't be so depressed because you're out of work. I'm out of work, and I'm depressed, so we'll talk to each other about it. Vernon Nunn, we'll sign us off with some Morse code. There we go. And Jeff?
He just said, fuck you.
I didn't. I said bye.
Jeff's in Atlanta. I forgot to even ask him what he was doing in Atlanta. What are you doing there, briefly?
I sing my sister.
Seeing your sister. And Ray Renati. God, one of the nice things that happened recently is being joined on this program by Ray. Thank you so much. I hope we'll see you all again next week. Why don't all of you, kind of like wave a big goodbye to everybody so they can see you so happy, smiling, and all of that. Bye-bye. That's our citizen panel for this night and this week. They will be back again next week, hopefully, a lot of them, and hopefully you will join them. All you have to do is go over to gabnet.net and you can find out all the ways you can do it. In the meantime, next is the intersection with with Jack and Amy, followed at 1 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time by Connections. I'm Alex Bennett. I'll see you again on Tuesday right after the exchange with Damian Chaplin at 9:30. At 10 o'clock, I'll be on. Same time, same station in life. And in the meantime, if you see her, tell her I love her, okay? Bye, everybody.